What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cards and Coffee. Today we're going to be digging into one of the best decks of the format, and personally it's one of my favorites. We're going to go through the card by card, explain exactly what I'm playing and why I'm playing it, but first, if you haven't already, please go grab yourself a cup of coffee or something. That way you guys can sit down and tune in. Let's do this. Alright, so this format is full of so many great decks right now. They all do really the same thing where they set up a very great first turn board, whether it's controlling the game with DPE or locking your opponent out of the game with Scythe. There are so many great win cons, and actually this deck doesn't use either of those. Don't get me wrong, we still play the adventure package in this deck, but we don't rely on Scythe or Dagda or any of the DPE engine, not because it's not good, but actually it makes the deck even more consistent by not playing it, and we don't have to feel obligated to play 60 cards to reduce the risk of drawing those bricks. That being said, I do currently play 50 cards. The deck is really a bunch of 2 or 3 card combos, so it's very consistent, but we do still want to maximize the opportunity of drawing multiple hand traps in our opening hand, because at the end of the day, we have to respect Scythe, whether we're playing it or not. In case you guys haven't seen it, I recently did a vlog where I was debating on what deck to bring, and this was definitely one of my top choices. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. I'll leave a link right above. The vlog was a lot of fun, and it was actually the first of the channel, so again, if that's something you're into, please go check it out. So, that being said, starting things off, we are going to be playing 3 copies of Ashina. This card does lock you into worms, so we can't go the Mare route, get a bunch of tokens, make Dagda and Verte, get your Scythe lock going because, again, this locks you into worms specifically. We do opt to play the Sword Soul engine instead, which, again, it's not as powerful as Resolving Scythe, but it is a lot more consistent, and the power and versatility it offers you is really insane. After the Ashina, we are playing 3 copies of Vishuddha. This card is insane at breaking boards. There are even pile decks that are just playing 3 copies of this just because of how versatile it is. Not only are these Tenyis super powerful at going second, and obviously setting up good combos going first, but the fact that these ones are level 7 make it to where going into Baron de Fleur before you commit to your Halqifibrax play is super easy to do. Not only that, these Tenyis are literally just free bodies to throw on the board, so whether it's setting up synchro plays or even just going straight into a Halqifibrax, these cards are amazing. Now, of course, to go alongside the Vishuddha, we are obviously going to be playing Adhara, and again, I max out on this because all of these cards are essentially combo pieces, whether it's free bodies to link or synchro with, or again, just free names for whatever play you are trying to accomplish. Adhara is really amazing. It's the tuner. You can normal summon it, and of course, it gives a grind game to the deck, being able to recycle any of your banished worms back to your hand. Now, since the Tenyis are so powerful at not only synchroing into Baron, breaking boards, and setting up Halqifibrax plays, your deck puts tokens out so easily, and non-effect monsters as well, whether it's through the Monk, the Adventure Package, your Sword Soul engine, or heck, even the Auroradon brings out tokens. So for that reason, you get to max out on 3 copies of Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. Now, I'm sure if you guys have played Sword Soul Tenyi, you guys understand the power that is Vessel. But that being said, in this deck specifically, it's insane. Like I just mentioned, there are so many opportunities to resolve this card fully, and if you do, by itself, it's basically full combo. Now, like I mentioned, I truly believe the Tenyis are the strongest part of this deck, so for that reason, committing to the Worm lineup is the route I had to go. No Mare, but instead we are playing the Sword Soul package. Of course, we're going to be playing Taya, Mo-Yi, and Blackout. This is really pretty standard, and I do not play the Long Yuan because more times than not, it was either dead or a brick. But really, you need the Taya because that's what you're going to bring out off of Yazi. Mo-Yi's the secondary target, or actually the better target if you have a Worm already in hand. And Blackout's just another form of interruption this deck gets to search that actually lets you play around Dark Ruler no more. Again, resolving Scythe is a lot more powerful than this Tenyi combo, but the versatility and consistency you gain by playing this package instead puts this deck to the next level. Now, like I mentioned, this is a Halqifibrax deck, so really any body and a tuner will get you to your combo, but if you happen to have access to one of your 3 copies of Red Rose Dragon, then your combo can get very insane. Now again, I'm not saying you have to hard open this card to do full combo, because really you don't, because you can bring it out off of Halqifibrax. But anytime you do, obviously it's going to be really insane being able to synchro it off with any of your level 7s into Baron de Fleur, activating the effect to summon the Rox Rose from deck, and then of course Rox Rose will shoot the Basil Rose shoot from deck. Makes it to where you go Baron de Fleur, Halqifibrax, all in a 2-card combo. Stick around till the end of the video. I am going to do a couple of combos to show you what the heck this deck can do, so if that's something you're into, please don't go anywhere. Now, like I said, you don't need to see this to do full combo, but obviously if you do, it's really insane because not only does it have synergy with the Tenyis, but you can also combo it with the Adventure package, which we'll talk about in a sec. But either way, at the end of the day, we're just trying to go Halq to set up our 001 for our Auroradon play. Now, after our little tuner package, like I mentioned, we are on the Adventure package, so we are playing 3 copies of Water Enchantress. Now, obviously, she's here to help you search for your copies of Rite of Aramasir. This is just the token generator that also gets you your Faithful Adventure, and eventually that will get you your Draco back and your Omni Negate in the form of Griffin Rider. This lineup is very standard across 99% of decks in the meta right now, so again, there's nothing really to explain about it, but again, this engine inherently gets you a level 7 and another body for Halqifibrax. That way, setting up Baron before Halqifibrax can happen fairly easily. Not only that, there is also times where you can go full combo without using the Adventure package, just to use it at the end of your combo to add more interruption to follow it up. And for the last engine card in the deck, the one Foolish Burial. Obviously, this card gets you Water Enchantress, which gets you access to this whole entire engine, but it also is technically another copy of Ashina, which is hands down the best card in your deck. This essentially makes it to where you have 7 copies of Ashina, so really this card, in my eyes, super staple, giving you access to both engines at any time. So that's it for the bulk of the deck outside of this nice little stack of hand traps we're about to go through. But the reason we're playing all these hand traps, not only to help prevent Scythe, but it's a Halqifibrax deck, so any of the tuner hand traps you play technically are combo pieces. But before we get into the tuner hand traps, I did want to talk about one in particularly. I am playing 1 copy of Token Collector. Now you might be asking yourself, why the heck are you playing this? And the main reason is because I'm not playing Fairy Tale Snow, but I still need a level 4 monster to dump just in case with Shooting Riser's effect. Now don't get me wrong, Fairy Tale Snow is an insane card, helping you play around Dark Ruler no more, and being probably one of the best grind games / interruption cards that we have access to. But the reason I opted out of playing it and going with Token Collector is this is technically a hand trap, so if I do happen to open it, whether I'm going first or second, Snow can technically be dead more times than not, and it's really a bad normal summon, whereas at least Token Collector is a hand trap to offer interruption. When 90% of the decks right now are playing Adventure, something like this can be very, very good right now. Like I just mentioned, we are playing the Riser Dragon in the extra deck as well, so dumping this first turn alongside the set Blackout makes it to where even if you get hit with Dark Ruler no more, you still have a double pop plus Token Collector against all these Adventure decks. Again, you could definitely be playing Snow, and I do not think it's wrong. As a matter of fact, I think it's broken. But for me, and in my testing, I have currently loved the one of Token Collector. Moving on to the tuner hand traps, we are of course going to be playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre, and I am opting to play 3 copies of Ghost Bell. All these hand traps are amazing against the Adventure package, plus they all have their own unique application against various things that you'll run into in the meta. And again, it's a tuner, it's a level 3, so whether it's Baron or Halqifibrax, these cards are really amazing for combos in this deck as well. And that's why I get to max out on all 3, because I know if I draw 2 of the same hand trap, even though they're once per turn, it's very easy to just normal summon 1 for the combo. I am playing one more tuner hand trap, and it's to nobody's surprise, I'm playing 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Again, same principle, it's a hand trap, it's a tuner. It can make level 8 synchros, or it makes Halqifibrax. And at the end of the day, Effect Veiler is a pretty good hand trap right now, whether it's stopping Halq or Auroradon, or any other various combo pieces that your opponent's trying to set up. Now, moving on to some of the hand traps that are not tuners, outside of the one of Token Collector, I'm actually playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This card is very great as a hand trap, and of course, acting like a chalice on your turn is very great as well. This card's insanely versatile, and while it's not a tuner, in my eyes, as far as hand traps go right now, I think this card definitely earns a spot in the main deck. Now, since we're literally playing this huge stack of hand traps, what better to mix them with than, of course, 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is obviously a powerhouse right now, especially with all these combo decks flying around the meta. So when you combine it alongside any of these other hand traps, wiping your opponent's board becomes very, very easy. Now, like I said, there are a bunch of different decks in the format that all accomplish similar things, but in my eyes, the power these Tenyis offer is what puts this deck over the top in my eyes. And not only that, this deck's first turn board can play around Droplet, and we'll go over combos at the end of this video, so again, stick around. But first, we got to go through this extra deck. Starting things off, I'm playing Monk of the Tenyi. Most people play 2, but I am currently playing 3. There are a handful of cards in this extra deck that I've been taking in and out, and really there's 1, maybe 2 slots that I can mess with, but honestly, I play the Tenyi part of this deck very aggressively, so I go through these monks very fast, and for that reason, the 3rd monk comes up for me pretty frequently. Now, after the monks, of course, like I mentioned, we're playing the Halqifibrax combo, so for that reason, we're playing 2 Halq and 1 Auroradon. Really, you only need 1 Halq, but the second does come up pretty often, whether you're using it as a secondary push on your turn 2, or if your first one gets stopped in your first combo, having access to the second is something that's very useful. That's it for the links. Moving on to the Synchro monsters. For our ending board, we typically like to end on the Baron de Fleur, alongside the Shishao that will search our Blackout, and of course the Herald of Arc Light. Not every combo will end on the Arc Light, but if you have access to Ashina, Arc Light is very obtainable in your combo. Now obviously, Herald's really good, it's an Omni-Negate, but it also makes it to where monsters sent from the hand or deck to the grave are banished instead, meaning that your opponent cannot activate Forbidden Droplet without making it to where Baron or Herald can activate its effect to negate it. And for that reason alone, honestly, I think any deck that can put Herald on the board first turn is arguably one of the best first turn boards of the format, even if you don't have access to Scythe. After all our interruptions, we do play the small Yangzing package. I'm playing the 1 Yazi and the 1 Baxia. Obviously, these cards are really great at breaking boards, but of course, Yazi is a staple in this deck, being able to really contribute to the core of this deck's combo. Popping it with Baron de Fleur, or worst case, your Auroradon, will allow you to bring out Taya from the deck, setting up your Shishao play, and again, searching the Blackout. And like I said, there's also Baxia, another great card to break boards, and even set up some cool combos. After the Yang Zings, I do play 2 more flex slots. I've got the 1 Shang Ying and the 1 Draco Berserker. Berserker is really great. It's a level 8 synchro that is a worm, so if you're locked into worms, then this is something that's great to go into. And obviously, Shang Ying is just an amazing level 10 synchro that comes up quite frequently, and some decks really struggle against this card. And for the last synchros in the deck, they are both synchro tuner monsters, first being the Shooting Riser Dragon, which I spoke on earlier, helping you set up a bunch of cool synchro plays, but also getting you access to the Token Collector. And the last one is the 1 Formula Synchron. This card can easily be cut as well, but I still find there's a lot of times where my Halqifibrax will get stopped, be it Ash or Veiler or Imperm, and I'm still able to make some kind of half of a board, and if my opponent is going off, I can use the Halqifibrax play to either tag into the formula, draw a card, and then sync with a level 8 into Baron, or if I have a Tenyi on the board, I can bring out the Riser, dump the Token Collector, which I can't use that turn, but then again, you can quick effect Synchro level 3 and level 7 into Baron. But that being said, test it out yourself. Let me know what you guys have been playing. There are so many different cards you could fit in this extra deck, but at the end of the day, this is what I've fallen back on, and I've had quite a bit of success with it so far. Alright, we're back at the combo table. First, I wanted to show you a very basic Halqifibrax combo that this deck basically is revolved around, but then after that, I'm going to show you one combo that is related to the Adventure package, and then another that's focused more on the Tenyi engine. But to start things off, obviously we have a very interesting hand. We have 4 hand traps and a Tenyi monster, which at the end of the day is all we need to go into our Halqifibrax play. I think it's pretty straightforward. First thing we're going to do, obviously, is activate the effect of our Tenyi to summon itself to the field. Then immediately after that, depending on what your hand is, you could really pick and choose your route from there. In this case, if you had extenders, you could summon one of these level 3s to make Baron and then go off from there. Or if you really feel like you just need Shishao, you could normal Veiler and Synchro from there. But again, we're here to show you the Halqifibrax combo, so we're just going to summon any one of these tuners, and then immediately after that, link these 2 off into our Halqifibrax. Halq will hit the field, and then of course we're going to activate the effect to summon the 001 from deck. Immediately after that, we'll link the 2 off into our Auroradon, and then of course we're going to use the Auroradon effect, giving ourselves 3 tokens, and then immediately after that, activating the Despot 001 from the grave, bringing itself back, and then Synchro summoning from there. You'll Synchro off 2 of the tokens and the 001 into your Yazi, and then now you can use the Auroradon to pop it, whether it's using the token or the Link monster itself. In this case, I'm just going to use the token, and Yazi will hit the grave. Yazi's effect will activate, special summoning Taya from the deck, and if, again, we had a Tenyi in hand, then we probably would have did the combo different anyway, but you could always summon the Mo Yi instead and get a free draw with this Synchro play. But like I said, we're going to bring out Taya, use the effect to banish the Yazi from grave. We'll get ourselves a token, and again, if we had Tenyi stuff, this would be another opportunity to do that. We'll get ourselves a Shishao, and then we'll activate both Shishao and Taya's effect. Taya 2, Shishao 1. In this case, since we have nothing else going for us, we'll just dump an Ashina for the follow-up, and of course, we're going to add the Blackout to hand. Again, this is a very bare bones combo, but you can see just having access to Halqifibrax at a minimum gets you a Monster Negate with 2 pops, and an Ashina as follow-up for the turn after. Now for the next 2 combos, they're both going to revolve around Red Rose Dragon. I'll show you one that involves the Adventure Package, and then of course I'll show you the one that involves the Tenyis. Both of them are very good, and their end board is very similar, but really at the end of the day, there's one interaction that's different between the 2 of them. Okay, so first, I think I'm going to start with the Enchantress combo. We're going to activate the effect, banish it to search ourselves a copy of Eremacir from deck. And again, if you open the Eremacir, it's essentially the same exact combo. I think it's pretty straightforward what you do. You'll activate the Eremacir, you'll get yourself a token. Adventure comes out from the deck, and then immediately after that, you'll normal summon the Red Rose, activating the Adventure to add Draco back from deck to hand. Once that's all resolved, you can activate the Adventure again to add the Griffin Rider and then pitch the Draco back. Draco back's effect will activate, equipping itself to the token, and then of course you can activate Griffin Rider, putting itself out on the field. Pretty simple from here. You have a level 3 tuner and a level 7 body. We'll Synchro these off into Baron de Fleur. Baron will hit the field, and then we will activate our Red Rose effect, special summoning Rox Rose and activating its effect to add the Basil Rose Shoot to our hand. Now you have 2 options. You can go straight into Halqifibrax right here and save the Rose Shoot for another play later. Or if you'd like, this is a level 7 Synchro play, so we can Synchro these off into our Shooting Riser. Riser will hit the field, and of course you can activate the effect to then dump yourself the Token Collector or the Fairy Tale Snow if that's what you play. Once you're done doing that, now you can activate the Rose Shoot, bringing back any of your dragons from the grave, and right there, that's another Halqifibrax play. You'll link these 2 off, Halqifibrax will hit the field, and from here, it's very similar to the first combo I just showed you. 001 hits the field, you'll link these off into your Auroradon. Auroradon will give you 3 tokens, 001 will come back from the grave. Immediately after that, you will Synchro 7 again. Yazi hits the field, and then this time we can use Baron to pop the Yazi. And just like before, Taya will come out. You can banish the Yazi from the graveyard. Get yourself another token, that way you can immediately Synchro them off. Shishao will hit the field, Taya will dump, Blackout will be added to hand, and there you go. A very solid first turn board. You have 1 Omni Negate, 1 Monster Effect Negate. You'll have a double pop in the form of Blackout, and in addition, you have the Ashina for follow-up next turn, and of course, you have the Token Collector we dumped in the grave, in case your opponent's on a token-based deck as well. And again, in this case, we have 3 hand traps in our hand, so technically more interruptions here, but if they were extenders, you probably could have made this board even better. For the last Red Rose combo I wanted to show you, now it will be alongside Ashina, which personally is one of my favorite first turn boards. There is a bunch of ways to make this board without Ashina, but really at the end of the day, this is just the best and easiest way to make this board. Starting things off no differently than any of the other combos with the Tenyis, we're just going to activate its effect to special summon it. Immediately after that, we will normal summon the Red Rose. Again, very easy to see what happens. We're going to go ahead and Synchro 10 right away. Baron will then hit the field, and of course we're going to use the Red Rose to bring out Rox Rose. Rox Rose will then add us the Basil Shoot, and again, it's pretty straightforward to see what you do. You're going to bring back your dragon, and that's a Halqifibrax from there. You'll link these two off, you'll make your Halq. Halq will bring out the 001, and then once again, you'll link these off into Auroradon. Auroradon will activate, you'll get 3 tokens onto the field. 001 will activate, bringing itself back from the graveyard. And this is where the combo is going to differ. You're not going to go into the Yazi. Instead, right now, we're going to go ahead and use one of the level 3 tokens and the 001 to go into our Herald of Arclight. Herald will hit the field, and you do control a non-effect monster, so now we can activate the Ashina Engrave, banishing itself to now special summon Adhara. We're locked into Worms, but now it doesn't matter because everything after this is Sword Soul oriented. We'll Synchro off the Adhara along with the 2 tokens. Yazi will hit the field, and just like last combo, we'll use Baron to pop the Yazi. Again, if you had another worm in your hand, you'd want to bring out Mo Yi, that way you get a free draw. But in this case, we'll bring out the Taya, and then we'll banish the Yang Xing to get another token. Once the token hits the field, you do not want to Synchro Summon. We'll actually activate the Adhara Engrave. We'll banish it to then add this Ashina back to hand. And then immediately after that, we can now Synchro with the token and the Taya. Shishao will hit the field. You'll activate Shishao's Chainlink 1, Taya Chainlink 2. With Herald on the field, whatever you dump is going to get banished, so use it at your own discretion if you really want to do that. Also, if you did play the Long Yuang, there is a line where you will banish the Long Yuang just to add it back with the Adhara. That way you can make your Baron de Fleur that way. But again, I don't play the Long Yuang, and that combo is something specific to that specific build. But just food for thought, that is a very cool combo this deck can do if you do play it. But in this case, we'll get the Blackout to hand, and again, if you wanted to use the Taya, it'll just banish whatever you dump. And at the end of the day, this is your ending board. Of course, you have the Blackout as a double pop, you have the Grandmaster as an effect negate, you have 2 Omni negates, one being a pseudo macro Cosmos to prevent Forbidden Droplet from negating your board, and of course, for your next turn, you can technically pop another card with Auroradon, and you added the Ashina to hand to combo off the turn after. Personally, I think this is one of the best boards this deck can make, and if you open the adventure package alongside it, then obviously you'll have a Griffin and a token alongside it for another Omni Negate. But again, this is basically what the deck does, and it does it so consistently. And the best part of all is you don't have to play all these Scythe DPE bricks in your deck. So that's going to wrap things up for me today, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me. Again, I personally think this is one of the best decks of the format for what it can do. Try it out yourself. I think you guys will fall in love with it. Here's hoping to see you guys next time. Peace.